All right, so much furor over the same. Let's connect with Saket Modi to discuss that. Saket, my WhatsApp groups are exploding with questions as to whether or not they should be shifting to Signal or even Telegram. So in one crisp answer, given the fact that I think our data is being compromised for eons on end on other platforms like Instagram, etc., does it actually make sense to download Signal instead of WhatsApp?
From a privacy perspective, the answer is very simple, yes. However, from a practical applicability perspective, I'm somebody who's both on WhatsApp and Signal. And I know what I talk on WhatsApp versus what I talk on Signal. And I'm very picky and choosy about that. So I would say that in the near future, the other extreme of saying, hey, everything will go to Signal will not happen anytime soon, because a lot of people who you want to talk to would not be there. And therefore, making sure that, anything which is classified sensitive, whether professionally or personally, I would only chat about those things on Signals, while for generic chat, I would be comfortable with WhatsApp.
Oh, really? So if it's something that is, say, confidential or something that's really high profile, you would say don't message on the WhatsApp platform for privacy?
Yeah, exactly. Think of it like this, right? I mean, I get asked all the time that what is a secured Wi-Fi? And I keep telling them that, look, if you're at an airport and using Wi-Fi, it's not bad to use Wi-Fi. You need to use Wi-Fi because of multiple reasons. You're traveling, you don't have the connection, etc., etc. But being at the airport, using their Wi-Fi and giving your, credit card information or your net banking's password and logging in is not a very smart thing to do, because that Wi-Fi is easily interceptable. While if I'm back in my home network or on my office network, in general, of course there are exceptions, in general, that's a little more secured than what an airport Wi-Fi would be. So the way you classify the kind of information you access through Wi-Fi, I'm saying that we'll go to a point where you'll actually classify the kind of information you want to share with what kind of medium. I feel, considering the funding and the access and the network and the technical prowess that a Facebook has, WhatsApp will always be more superior when it comes to feature richness, right? I mean, the way the user experience, etc., etc. And that you know this, right? For 99% people, unfortunately, user experience comes a little ahead of even user privacy. So I feel that, not telling people please get out of WhatsApp, because for most people that's not even an option these days, saying, hey, please use WhatsApp, but do not have any confidential information exchanged professionally or personally on WhatsApp. If you have to do that, please use Signal. I think that's a far more acceptable and a far more real expectation we can set from the masses out there.
Okay, point taken. But, I was talking about the point, sometimes you discuss a topic out loud and then, you see ads of that on Instagram as well, along with Facebook, that aside. But isn't our data or our privacy or confidentiality also being compromised on that platform?
Are you saying that if we have the app, it can listen to us? Is that what you're saying? Sorry, I can't hear you if you're saying something.
I'm saying I don't know about that, but there have been a number of instances that it has happened that perhaps, the microphone is on or it is hearing you, and, you do get ads shown up about, say, something you spoke about, say, a safari, and then, 10 minutes later you're scrolling through Instagram and then there's ads about a safari. So yeah, there is, in that sense as well, your privacy being compromised.
No, absolutely, and you're right. This happens all the time, and it's not just Facebook, it's not just WhatsApp. Unfortunately, majority of the apps which are there on your mobile, when you give them access or unrestricted access to your microphone, you actually go ahead and allow them to go ahead and basically listen to you whenever they want. That's the reason why you see the new iPhone has this thing on the top where it gives you a dot the moment an application is accessing your microphone, or if an application is accessing your camera, because unfortunately, if an app accesses your front camera, you will not even know about it, because unlike a laptop, you don't really have a light button which goes right next to it, and you're able to provide that information. So does that happen? The answer is yes. But on the other side, the simple solution to that is don't give the access to microphone on a blanket basis when you have to use a voice recording, or if you have to go ahead and use use a way by which you're doing a voice call. Only then give an access to an application to use that microphone privacy setting which is there, and for rest of the time you can just disable it. In that way, they won't be able to listen anytime that they want.
Okay, fair enough. So that's at least something that we can do, that, perhaps go into our settings and ensure that the microphone setting is not on blindly or blanketly for all our apps. I just wanted to understand what you think this could mean, in a larger scale for WhatsApp and Facebook users, because the message is spreading thick and fast. People are, getting off the WhatsApp chat platform quite soon. Do you think long-term repercussions will be felt?
Yeah, let me take a step back, if you're okay, and I'll give you a perspective of how Signal came in, and then I'll tell you about the future in terms of the repercussion, right? So 2009, WhatsApp is born. 2014, WhatsApp is acquired by Facebook. 2017, the founders leave Facebook over concerns of how, Facebook is trying to monetize and use the data of its billion-plus users at that time. And it is the founder of WhatsApp, which comes out from Facebook, Brian Acton, which funds an American cryptographer to say, look, I can see the future, and people will not want to stay on a platform where they cannot express themselves freely because they feel that there is a trillion-dollar company out there with the sole agenda of gathering information, putting that together, and giving you ads, or it can have other motives also. And therefore, Brian Acton actually puts in $50 million to fund Signal. And that's how Signal is born. This was 2017. Now, when that started and where that started, today, you actually have a platform, which, by the way, even WhatsApp uses the Signal protocol, which was made by the Open Whisper standard and, the whole forum there. And they use the Signal protocol to actually encrypt the data within WhatsApp. Not only WhatsApp, iMessage uses it, Skype uses it. A lot of very, very popular messenger service around the world actually uses the Signals protocol to encrypt the data of what you're transferring. So if you're transferring a file, a chat, a voice message, all of that is encrypted using a Signal protocol inside WhatsApp. However, WhatsApp does have an end objective. And the end objective of WhatsApp is very simple. You have to add shareholder value by taking your revenue up quarter on quarter. And unfortunately, you cannot do that if you don't know anything about the user which is using that platform. So I would say, from a design perspective, from a business model perspective, WhatsApp is designed to make money. While on the other side, Signal is a non-profit. So it's not designed to build money. It's designed to give value, and the byproduct is giving back to the community, and it runs from donations. So the repercussions in the future, I don't think it's just going to be Signal, because a lot of users in any one platform will automatically make it biased, and there will be challenges. I think the future is open source. The future is ways where not only your data, but the metadata about the data, or the sealed sender concept of Signal, where it doesn't even know who sends the message to whom. Forget about the metadata about that message being sent. That, whichever app can comply to that, will be the future of communication. And at the same time, it's not just Signal. I mean, any app which comes with that feature or with that framework would really define, or would be there for the long haul which is out there.
Just going by the kind of data that's also flashing on your screens, the data that's linked to you that Facebook Messenger has access to, and WhatsApp as well, vis-a-vis the likes of iMessage or even Signal, it is a way longer list. I just want to put this simply. So Saket, you're also saying that this extends to Signal or Telegram, right? The switch from WhatsApp when it comes to privacy?
Absolutely. Signal and Telegram both are far more secured when it comes to processing your data to give you ads, because even Telegram in that way is super, it's a step higher than where WhatsApp is. And remember, all of them are the same when it comes to the content data security. It's the same. In fact, they use the same protocols also. But on the other side, it's really beyond the content, the metadata. What time did you log in? What is the size of your messages? How many hours do you chat? What is the IP address that you belong to? Your location setting, saying that, look, when you're here, this is the kind of message that you send. When I say kind, again, it can be the size. I'm not saying the content. So from a content security, there's no difference between iMessage, WhatsApp, Signal or Telegram. But when it comes to everything beyond the actual content, which is the metadata, there's a huge difference. And I would put Signal and Telegram in the same bucket. Signal being slightly better because, if you see the commercialization of what's happened with Telegram, there are a gazillion, I would say, unmoderated and more importantly, no limit groups that you have in Telegram, because of which it's actually become home to a lot of criminals, a lot of bad content, etc., etc. While Signal, on the other side, in that way, although it doesn't curate the content, but it actually sets the restriction of a group to 100 people, and I think it's 100 or 1,000, so either of those. And because of that, it's able to go ahead and restrict, and it's not like an unrestricted flow of information which can go out to tens of thousands of people, which is out there. And frankly, the actual mother of the way the encryption is happening is really the Signal protocol. So I would tend to stick towards Signal even more than Telegram.
Okay, fair enough. We read off in our headlines as well right now that there's going to be a new messaging app on the horizon. Zoho Corp is set to launch Arata, and there's going to be plenty as well that will add to this list. So this clearly opens up a lot more opportunity for them, you think, now?
Oh, absolutely. I would say chat apps are a two-edged, it's a double-edged sword. On one side, you want it to be extremely popular so that you can monetize. Because remember, when a Zoho or any large organization whose laser focus is profits, whose laser focus is doubling, tripling its revenue year over year, the only way by which most of them are able to do it, if it's not subscription, and remember, nobody wants to subscribe to a chat application anymore, right? When Signal and WhatsApp and iMessage are all free of cost, right? So when you can't charge money from subscription, the other way is either you give them ads, or you take the data, consolidate the data, and either you sell it off, or you give it from WhatsApp to Facebook, where again you're giving ads or using that data basically. And that's the reason why, you can have a lot of chatting applications, but I feel the monetization of that by itself is a very difficult thing. And that's the reason Signal is in a good spot. It's not pressurized quarter over quarter from earnings calls from analysts and the shareholders, where if it doesn't report the profits, the stocks will, price will go down, etc., etc. So I feel things like communication, standardization, and I don't know if you know this, but Signal, do you know how many people Signal has? It has never had more than 10 developers. 10, that's it, right? And the reason I'm saying that is, I think that's the future where, a lot of open source stuff, taking a lot of libraries in, we can put together with a team of 5 to 10 people and really change the world. And if you're doing it in a non-profit way, I think, certain things which are fundamental to our human needs, like privacy on the internet, I think they'll only come from non-profits and not from the ones which are quarter on quarter chasing profits which are there.
And just to reiterate, since we're talking about protecting our data and our privacy, you said that even when you go outside and log on to a public Wi-Fi network, are you in any way compromising your data when you're, getting that OTP or sending out your mobile phone number? Would it just be better to stick to 4G if you have network?
Yeah, I would say, given the number of attacks which are possible on Wi-Fi, it is in general better to stick to 4G, 3G, whatever you've got, 2G is extremely unsecured, unlike a lot of people who think that, if I have a Nokia 1100, which there's a 2G connection, my phones cannot be tapped. No, it's actually the other way around. If you use a 2G connection, the way the authentication and encryption happens there, it uses A5x1 and A5x2, which is fairly easy to crack. So, in short, 2G is easy to crack, 3G is better, 4G is far better, and when you compare that to Wi-Fi, public Wi-Fi, well, public Wi-Fi is the last thing you should be using for anything personal, even if it has an SSL certificate that you're seeing. There's something called SSL stripping attack, or you can do an SSL relay, using which you can still see the SSL lock on the top, but still the hacker in between would be intercepting your communication. So highly recommended, do not use public Wi-Fi through any app, through any website to do any sensitive conversation or exchange of any sensitive information. The most unsecured is public Wi-Fi. Slightly better is your home or office Wi-Fi. Better than that in general would be the VoIP or through your 4G or 5G, which should be coming soon.
Wow, that's good to know. It's really opened my eyes, and I'm sure a lot of our viewers as well. Saket, it's a great pleasure having you on board. Thanks much for taking time out and joining in, giving us a lot more clarity on this WhatsApp Signal debate, and even now you're saying public Wi-Fi and the disadvantages of logging on to it. Good to have you on board.
Thank you so much for having me here. Thanks. Bye.
Bye. All right. We'll take a short break then, right?